What's up, everybody? This is Kenny Cummins here of Chilling with Kenny C, coming to you with this next interview here. And this man is from the same state that I'm at, out here in Kentucky. He's got that latest single called Lockscreen. It's available on all the streaming platforms. He go by the name of Coltski. He's with me right now. What's good, man?
What's good, bro? I'm glad to hear that you're also from KY too.
Yeah, man. Where in KY are you from?
Owensboro.
Owensboro. Okay. I live
Yeah.
in Lexington. I live in Lexington.
Have you ever been to Owensboro?
Maybe once or twice.
If you live in like a bigger city of Kentucky, you usually don't have any reason to come here. But it's kind of a chill place.
Yeah. So, it's great to have you, man. You got this lock screen joint. That's your latest single,
Yeah.
available on all your streaming platforms. I say let's start out with that, man. Talk about this track. How did it came to be? How as far as how did lock screen came about?
Well, we all have that feel, that moment when we're waiting for somebody to text us on our phone, or it feels like our phone buzzed, but it didn't. You know, that's kind of where the concept came from. I was just kind of listening to beats in my room. I was on BeatStars listening to beats, and I heard this beat, and it was just like the hook came in my head immediately, and I started kind of like singing it in the shower, and was like, "Wait a sec, I might fuck around and try to put this on a track," and then I did, and then eventually I just plugged in all the lyrics of the verses. It actually I've actually had way worse relationships in my life, but this one girl that I was seeing at the time that I wrote this song, what didn't last very long, but she gave me all the words I needed to say.
Mm.
So that's where it kind of came from.
Hey, sometimes like it's very rare when an artist of any genre has that happen. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
uh,
I knew exactly what I was gonna say when I got the hook down. I'm like, I know exactly what I'm about to say in this verse, and I said
yeah.
it.
So talk about let's talk Orangeboro.
All right.
So for those in Kentucky that might not be familiar with the city, talk about talk about what's out there in Owensboro. Talk about you being there, living there, and everything. Just talk about the city in general.
So I I used to hate Owensboro, but I don't hate it no more because it's like there's no peace at home, there's no peace anywhere. So I kind of like came to peace with where I'm from, so I can kind of be happier wherever I may be. So you can take that for whoever's listening. You can take that no matter where you're at, no matter where you're from. You got to find peace at home first. Um, but anyways, there's not really much going on in Owensboro other than country music. There's a few rappers, a few hip hop artists, a few artists who could potentially do something, but we don't really have the resources for people to actually commit to a music career unless you are doing country music. So it's a little tough out here for people like me who like don't necessarily make country music. And so that's the tough part about being in Owensboro. But there are some rappers out here, and they're all right. But we have our own little style. But I don't fall into that category. So um, a lot of times people don't even really consider me as a music artist because I don't fit their category. When I'm like, well, I do my own thing. so
Yeah,
uh, so it's a lot of it's a lot of nothing. But when there is something, they kind of take it from themselves by not creating like an atmosphere or community. People aren't very like receptive of building an artistic community. It's kind of more of a competition. Um, and after me living in multiple other states and not living here my whole life, like living in New York City, as an artist, you gotta learn that collaboration is how you get better at your craft because there's always somebody who can do something better than you can do, or you could do something better than they can do. And there's always it's better to just be able to bounce creativity back and forth as a collaboration, especially in music, because this industry is complex and expensive. So that's kind of what it's like living in Owensboro as a music artist.
Yeah, that the last two words you said, as far as not just all, just music in general, music industry,
Yeah.
complex and very expensive. Even with independent unsigned artists,
Yeah.
like the studio time, the mix, mastering, the producers, the studio time. I
Yeah.
mean, my goodness, like
The engineer, and then you
engineer.
and if you don't have any graphic design skills, like,
Yeah,
you gotta pay for their graphic design to get a single art. You gotta get if you're not a photographer, you
yeah,
gotta find a photographer, and it's the list goes on before this one song even comes out.
yeah, yeah.
So it's
That's
like, people don't understand that, but it's not really for them to understand. Music isn't necessarily like a career path for me as much as it is, um, just a self-expression thing. However, if something comes from it, it would be something that I'd be willing to pursue.
so. As far as that, um, what else you have on the horizon? As far as maybe more music on the way, up maybe upcoming shows. Uh, what else you got in store in the
So
coming
I
weeks and
got
months?
connected with the DJ Fleet Conference. If you're familiar with them,
Yeah.
the Fleet DJs. I met with a guy named what was his name? Anyways, his name doesn't matter, but he lives in Louisville, and he was asking me to do something sometime this summer. So there's probably going to be a first time for a show. That's be my first show ever. So I've never done anything like that. But as far as new music, I do have a song that I plan on releasing probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's called "Never Meant to Let You Go."
All right. Definitely looking forward to that. So I'm reading your Spotify bio, and it says that you are best described as a multi-level artist. Now, anybody that listens to music in general, people like to put artists in a box, trying to figure out what genre they are. Might be one, might combining two genres here and there. So if anyone were to ask you, what kind of music do you exactly do? How would you best describe Coltski's music?
Um, I would describe it. I don't know if this is a genre, but it's like I always say breakup angst, mix of rap and alternative, but mainly rap. So it's
Gotcha.
like a breakup rap, which is I think actually is a genre now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of artists are in their feelings, a lot of emotional. We
Yeah.
grew up with the grit and the grimy raps, hardcore, and we still get that from time to time. But as far as mainstream, it's a lot emotional, and obviously, one thing I admire about hip hop artists is that they willing to open up about their mental health, or just show the vulnerable side,
Right.
um, and stuff like that. People do listen to. It could be a lifesaver for people. And people don't may not even know it until you get a comment on social media per se. Uh,
Right.
so with you, man, like what's your take on artists showing that emotional side, that vulnerable side, expressing themselves differently through what people are accustomed to. Like, what's your thoughts on people showing that emotional side?
I think that for me, what I've learned by getting into making music and making songs, um, I've been able to find things that are in the back of my mind that are have been compartmentalized into my head that I didn't realize that I was struggling with, or like I had, I was having like emotional reactions from, or I was saying a lot of things in the studio or at home, wherever I may be writing or listening to some beats. There was a lot of things that came to mind that I never even thought of that I was dealing with. And that itself kind of became an addiction for me because I was like finally getting to a point where I was like saying things that I was going through that I didn't know I was going through because it had been in the back of my mind. And that goes to say, like, I really, I'm all for music artists like expressing their emotions and exploring that because as a man out here, we can barely even talk in the mirror about how we're feeling. So music is like one of the only places that males can really be accepted in expression of their emotions. So I think that's why that industry is predominantly male dominated because we're so suppressed in our self-expression that when we find music as our outlook or our you know our outreach, um, we help other people and also we help ourselves. So um, I think that's one of the main reasons why the emotional music has got to the point of success that it has got to.
Yeah, and considering we're years removed from the pandemic and everybody at home can't do much, can't do anything, everything's literally shut down.
Right,
So it's not like not many people were able to do some things, but Zoom and Facebook and everything, social media, interacting online per se, and people that are accustomed to that nightlife and going out, hanging out with friends, couldn't do that for a while. And that's when the emotions, vulnerable side comes into play. And, you wonder if things are going to get back to some normalcy per se. Um, but I definitely respect anybody that's willing to show that side, show the humanity side of them. Um, Obviously, like people like to have happy fun, go have a good time, party, things like that. But everybody's human, especially the artists that's putting these words together and just putting the story behind it and puts a lot into proper perspective as to the words that they are saying.
right,
It's life saving. It's life changing for them as artists, and it's also life changing for the listener that's
right,
listening to this and be like, man, I feel what that person is coming from. So it's it's a testament to what artists do. It just feels like you on this earth for a reason. And
right,
if one person life changed after that and turn their life around for the better, then you look at yourself as an artist like I knew I was brought on this earth to do something, and seeing how that person reacted to the song the way they have, uh, I know what I'm here for.
right.
So that means something. That's
I've also, from my experience, I've learned that like for every 10 people that's watching you, there's 100 that you don't know. So there's a lot more people watching you that don't interact or don't necessarily support per se, um, that you're just unaware that they even know that you're doing this and this and this. But the people are out there watching and they're listening. So you never really know who you're going to be able to motivate or help. Um, I'm not sure if I've had any effects like that on people, but I have had people say that when they're feeling down, they'll like listen to my song while they're like going on a drive, and like it'll make them feel a little bit like it'll like hype up their ego a little bit, and they'll feel a little bit of confidence. So that itself, I know that probably helps somebody. Um, but as far as like me as an artist, I don't just do music. So um, I have had an experience where I do photography, and I took a picture of the moon and I edited this thing. And this guy, he like found this picture and basically was like, "Hey man, like I came across your art. Um, I don't know what it was, but it spoke to me. It told me that I needed to go have a conversation with Jesus." And I was like, "That's amazing. I'm glad that my art can do that for you." And then he messaged me like 6 months later and was like, "Hey man, like I just want to say, like ever since that day that I came across your art, I stopped drinking. Like I haven't been drinking. I'm working on getting custody of my kids back." So like there's a lot of different things that I take from being an artist, and that I know that words have a lot more power than an image. So I know that if I can find a way to say what I'm trying to say, um, that I'll eventually be able to help somebody, which is always awesome. I always want to help somebody.
Well said, man. So my last question for you is this. There's a lot of people out there that's trying to get their start in music, especially just being an independent artist. Um, from your experience, whether it's recording music or doing shows or networking, what is your advice to those fellow indie artists that's just trying to get started, that's just trying to figure out what the first move should be? What's your advice to those that's trying to get into music?
There's obviously so many different routes you can take to get into music. If you're somebody who doesn't play instruments, that's okay. That's totally fine. We live in a day and age where there's beats online. So if I could tell anybody in a short way to get if in a short way, if you want to get started with making music and you're more so like kind of on the hip hop side, um, go to BandLab, get a microphone. You can get one from Walmart. I don't recommend a podcast microphone. I recommend looking up one of the cheapest Scarlett microphones that you can get. I think you can get a mini interface and the Focusrite and the Scarlett bundle for like $100. And then you go on BandLab. It's free. Just make an account and then go to BeatStars. And if you go to BeatStars, you can download free. Um, Sound like an ad right now. You can download free beats that you're interested in, and then you can kind of like plug it into BandLab. You can mess around. You can say, you can really find a sound just through BandLab. You can find a style or things that you would be interested in talking about, or your flow. Like BandLab's a really, really lucrative place to like, if you're brand new, learn your flow, learn what you can get in, like the way you kind of rap, what kind of beats that you like, what kind of beats like inspire you to like have something to say, versus like a lot of times I listen to beats and I'm like, I would never be able to like say anything on this beat, but I love this beat. But then I hear beats where I'm like, I'm not really feeling it, but my mind's like, oh, I'm trying to say some stuff on this. So BandLab's a great place for you to go and take beats off YouTube, BeatStars, whatever. I recommend going on BeatStars because if you download a free beat and you like it, you can send the demo to the producer, and if they like it, then you can negotiate a better rate on exclusive rights for the beat. Or if they really like you, then they can just throw you the beat for free, whatever it may be. They always have their Instagrams or social media tags like on their pages. So BeatStars and BandLab, that's where you should start.
All right, so go check that out. Shout out to the homie Coltski. Check out the lock screen joint. It's the latest single. It's available on all the streaming platforms. Be on the lookout for his new single as well. Check him out on Apple Music, Instagram, TikTok, X, aka Twitter, and stay in the loop with Coltski. Check out that beat site. You try to get some beats, cause you
Yes,
know
sir.
some of the beats nowadays don't come cheap. That's a good route to go. So go check it out, man. Shout out Owensboro. Shout out to Owensboro, man. Uh, there's talent there. I know there's some talent
Yeah,
there. And you know, shout out to the small cities because you know those are the ones that you know there's some artists out there luring. People just got to go out there and support these artists, especially those that travels long, far away, and give them a listen, check them out, enjoy their set, enjoy their music, and just check them out, see and see what they bring. You know, you might like that artist. You know, you don't know until you go to these shows and check them out. Be on the lookout for Coltski, man. He's got a lot in store. So stay tuned for him. It's great to have you on the show. Great chatting with you. And I can now say I interviewed an Owensboro artist. I can say
Hell
that.
yeah.
I've interviewed Lexington, Louisville, Frankfurt, Richmond, and other Radcliffe, and now I can say Owensboro.
What about Bowling Green?
Yeah, I got Bowling Green. I've interviewed some Bowling Green folks too.
Yep.
I know definitely know some Bowling Green folks.
I was about to say Bowling Green, they're a lot more active.
Yeah,
Oh,
shout out to
yeah,
the BGK out there in the Bowling Green. But great chatting with you, Kolski. Continue success and everything, and keep doing your thing, man. I like what I hear, and I look forward to hearing more from you in the future.
I appreciate that, Kenny. Much success to you, and we'll stay in touch.
All right, for sure, for sure. That's Kolski. I'm Kenny Comments. That's going to conclude the interview. Check out local music, independent music. Check out these artists, not just in your city, but your state and anywhere, man. Stop focusing on mainstream. Check out the indie artists. There's a lot of talent out there there's a lot of good gems on the indie side, man. Just give them a listen. So we out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your week. All right.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Adios.